Welcome, my friends. This is Philip Mitchell Anthony, and today I want to share a message that touches the very core of who we are. A message about struggles, pain, and the unconditional love that never fails us. The truth is, we all go through moments when we feel broken, unworthy, or forgotten. But there is one constant assurance. He knows your struggles, yet he still loves you. No matter what you've been through, no matter how many times you've fallen, his love has never left you. You know, one of the hardest things we face in life is admitting that we struggle. So many of us wake up every single morning, put on a brave face, and walk out into the world pretending that everything is fine. But deep down inside, we carry weight. Some of us are carrying rejection. Some of us are carrying fear. Some of us are dealing with financial stress. Some are facing family problems. And many of us are burdened by the mistakes we've made in the past. Let's be honest for a moment. Rejection hurts. Maybe you applied for a job and didn't get it. Maybe the person you loved didn't love you back. Maybe you've been excluded from a group or made to feel like you don't belong. Rejection has a way of cutting deep because it tells us a lie. It whispers that we're not good enough. But I want to remind you right now, you are not defined by rejection. Your value doesn't decrease just because someone else failed to see your worth. Then there's fear. Fear is something we all know too well. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of what tomorrow might bring. Some of us are so controlled by fear that we can't even enjoy the present moment. Fear builds walls around us and makes us feel trapped. But here's the truth. Most of the things we fear never actually happen. Fear magnifies problems, but faith shrinks them down. And what about financial stress? Let's talk about it because it's real. Many people today are working hard, but still can't seem to make ends meet. Bills keep piling up. Unexpected expenses come out of nowhere, and sometimes it feels like you're running a race you'll never win. It's exhausting to lie awake at night wondering how you're going to provide for your family or even just keep the lights on. Financial struggles can make us feel like failures, but remember this, your worth is not measured by your bank account. You are more than your paycheck, and this season will not last forever. Family problems, now that's a tough one. Because family is supposed to be the place where we feel safe, supported, and loved. But for many, family is where the deepest wounds come from. Arguments, broken relationships, distance, or even betrayal. These things leave scars. Some of you listening right now may feel like you've lost your family or that the people who should have been there for you weren't. That pain is real. Don't push it down. Don't pretend it doesn't hurt. Acknowledge it, but also know this brokenness is not the end of the story. Healing is possible. And then there are mistakes, the things we've done that we wish we could erase. Maybe you said something you can't take back. Maybe you hurt someone. Maybe you made a bad decision that changed the direction of your life. We carry guilt and shame like heavy chains, and sometimes we wonder if we'll ever be free. But listen to me. Your mistakes are not your identity. They are chapters in your story, but they are not the final chapter. I want you to pause for a moment and let this sink in. You are not alone. Every single person battles something unseen. You are not the only one carrying pain. You are not the only one who cries when nobody else is watching. You are not the only one who feels lost sometimes. We live in a world where everyone is fighting invisible battles. Battles of the mind, battles of the heart, battles of the soul. So, if you've been feeling like you're all by yourself in this, hear me, you are not. Struggle is part of the human story, but it doesn't have to be the end of the story. And even in the middle of the struggle, there is love, there is hope, and there is a God who sees every tear and hears every silent prayer. He knows your struggles and he still loves you. One of the greatest fears that many of us carry deep inside is this: if people really knew me, would they still love me? We live in a world where everyone puts on a mask. On social media, we show the highlight reel, the good moments, the smiling pictures, The parts of our lives that look perfect. But behind the scenes, behind closed doors, we all have struggles, secrets, and scars. And we wonder if people knew the real me, the mistakes I've made, the thoughts I sometimes have, the times I've fallen short, would they still accept me? That fear is powerful. It makes us hide. It makes us pretend. It makes us afraid to open up. Because deep down we worry that if someone truly sees the broken pieces of who we are, they will turn their back on us. Maybe you've had that experience already. You trusted someone, you opened your heart, and when they discovered your weakness, they walked away. That hurts deeply. But here's the truth I want you to hold on to. There is one who already knows every single detail about you, and he has not turned away. He knows the good. He knows the bad. He knows the parts of you that you're proud of and the parts you're ashamed of. And yet, his love has never changed. In fact, it was never based on perfection in the first place. His love is based on who he is: faithful, unchanging, merciful, and compassionate. Think about this. You can fool people with a smile, but you can't fool the one who created you. He knows the hidden tears you've cried. He knows the late night thoughts you never told anyone. He knows the times you doubted yourself, the times you wanted to give up, the times you said, I'm not enough. And still he calls you his child. Still he chooses you. Still he wraps you in love that is not shaken by your imperfections. Let me share a story that captures this. There was a young man who had made many mistakes in his life. He had hurt people he loved, wasted opportunities, and lived in a way that he felt ashamed of. For years, he carried the weight of guilt, believing that if anyone truly knew how far he had fallen, they would never respect him again. He even stayed away from his family because he couldn't face their disappointment. One day, after hitting rock bottom, he decided to come home. Not knowing what to expect, he walked toward his house, rehearsing in his mind what he would say. I'm sorry. I don't deserve forgiveness. I don't deserve love. But before he could even knock on the door, his father saw him from a distance. And instead of anger, instead of rejection, his father ran toward him, embraced him, and welcomed him home. That is a picture of unconditional love. A love that sees the mistakes, yet still embraces the person. And that is the same love available to you. You may feel unworthy, but you are not unloved. You may feel broken, but you are not forgotten. You may feel ashamed, but you are not rejected. This is the power of being known. When someone sees the whole truth about you and still says, you belong, you matter, and I love you. That kind of love is rare in this world, but it is constant with God. He doesn't just know you, he understands you. He doesn't just see your flaws, he sees your potential. He doesn't just remember your past, he sees the future he has prepared for you. So today, stop hiding. Stop pretending you have it all together. You don't need to perform for love. You don't need to earn it. You are already fully known and still fully loved. That truth has the power to set you free. Every one of us has a past. Every one of us has moments we wish we could erase. Sometimes those memories play over and over in our minds like a broken record. We think about the things we should have said, the things we shouldn't have done, the people we hurt, the opportunities we lost. And the weight of those mistakes can make us feel like we don't deserve love anymore. Maybe you've been there, lying awake at night, your mind reminding you of the wrong turns you've taken. You wonder, could I ever be forgiven? Could I ever start again? Mistakes have a way of making us believe that our future is ruined, that we've disqualified ourselves from ever being worthy of something good. But here's the truth I need you to hold on to. Your mistakes don't disqualify you from love. They remind you that you're human. Nobody is perfect. We all stumble. We all fail. We all fall short. Yet divine love is not based on perfection. It is built on grace. Grace means that you are loved not because of what you've done right, but in spite of what you've done wrong. Think about this. When a child is learning to walk, they fall many times. But no good parent looks at their child and says, "You fell down, you're a failure, you're not my child anymore." No, they pick them up, encourage them, and cheer them on. That's the way divine love works. When you stumble, you are not abandoned. When you fall, you are not erased. Instead, love reaches down, lifts you up, and says, "You still belong to me. I want you to hear this clearly. You are still worthy of love. No matter what you've done, no matter how far you think you've gone, love has not given up on you. The world may remind you of your past, but love reminds you of your future. People may try to label you by your mistakes, but love calls you by your name." Let me share a story with you. There was a woman who had made choices that caused shame in her community. People whispered about her, pointed fingers at her, and treated her like she was less than human. She avoided crowds because of the judgment. One day, though, she encountered someone who saw her differently. He didn't look at her with condemnation, but with compassion. He knew her past, yet he offered her dignity, grace, and love. That moment changed her life forever. Why? Because for the first time, she realized that her mistakes did not erase her worth. That same love is available to you today. You may have chapters in your story that you're not proud of, but those chapters are not the whole book. You may have scars, but scars are not signs of defeat. They are proof that you survived. You may have regrets, but regrets don't define you. What defines you is the love that says, you are forgiven, you are chosen, and you still have a purpose. A friend, the enemy of your soul, wants you to believe that your mistakes make you unlovable. But that is a lie. Love is not fragile. Real love doesn't run away when things get messy. Real love stays. Real love fights for you. Real love says, "I know what you've done, and I still want you." So today, instead of replaying the soundtrack of your failures, I want you to replay this truth. I am loved beyond my mistakes. Say it out loud if you need to. Let it sink into your heart. Because when you understand this, shame begins to lose its power, guilt begins to fade, and hope begins to rise again. Remember, your mistakes are part of your story, but they are not the end of your story. Love has the final word, and that word is grace. Hardship is something none of us ask for, yet all of us face. Life is full of seasons when things don't go as planned. You pray, you work hard, you do your best, and still storms come. Maybe it's sickness, maybe it's financial struggle, maybe it's betrayal by someone you trusted, maybe it's a door that closed when you thought it would open. And in those moments, the first thought we often have is, I must be abandoned. Maybe I'm being punished. Maybe I'm all alone in this. But let me tell you something very important. Struggles are not signs of abandonment. Just because life gets hard does not mean you've been left behind. Hardship doesn't mean you're forgotten. It often means you're being prepared. Think about that. Preparation rarely feels comfortable. Growth rarely feels easy. But the pain you're experiencing is not without purpose. Let's look at nature for a moment. Diamonds are formed under intense pressure. Gold is refined in fire. Seeds have to be buried in the dark soil before they can grow into trees. Every beautiful, valuable thing in nature comes through a process of struggle. And in the same way, your hardship is shaping you, refining you, preparing you for something greater than you can see right now. Sometimes hardship teaches us lessons we could never learn in comfort. It teaches patience when we want everything instantly. It builds resilience when we feel like quitting. It reminds us of our need for faith when we've tried to control everything ourselves. And most importantly, hardship teaches us compassion, because when you've been through pain, you can look someone else in the eye who's hurting and say, I understand. You're not alone. Let me share a picture with you. Imagine a person lifting weights. The very act of lifting something heavy is uncomfortable. Muscles strain, sweat pours, it feels painful. But in that moment, the body is actually growing stronger. Without resistance, there is no growth. Without weight, there is no strength. In the same way, the resistance you face in life, the hardships are building a strength in you that ease and comfort never could. I know some of you listening right now are in the middle of a season of hardship. Maybe you're asking, why me? Why now? Why this? And I won't pretend to have all the answers. But what I do know is this: hardship does not last forever. Seasons change. Winter doesn't stay, spring eventually comes. Darkness doesn't last, morning eventually breaks. And the same is true in your life. This hardship you're facing is not the end of your story. When you look back one day, you will see how even the pain had a purpose. You'll see how the very thing that once brought you to your knees became the thing that built your faith, sharpened your character, and prepared you for your next chapter. Sometimes we can only see it clearly when the storm has passed, but even in the middle of the storm, there is hope. So let me encourage you today, don't give up in your hardship. Don't throw in the towel. Don't believe the lie that this is the end. What feels like breaking may actually be building. What feels like loss may actually be making room for something new. And what feels like abandonment may actually be the greatest opportunity to experience unconditional love and strength like never before. Hold on to hope, because hope is not just wishful thinking. Hope is the anchor that keeps you steady when the winds are raging. Hope is the belief that even when I don't see it, there is purpose in my pain. Hope is knowing that He uses even our hardships to shape us, guide us, and build us stronger than we were before. So today, in the middle of your struggle, choose hope. Because hope is what will carry you through the hardship, and love is what will meet you on the other side. There comes a point in every journey when you feel like you can't take another step. Life has knocked you down so many times that standing back up feels impossible. Maybe you've been through failure after failure. Maybe you faced heartbreak after heartbreak. Maybe you've tried to rebuild only to see it all fall apart again. And you start to wonder, what's the point? Maybe this is just the way my life is going to be. But I'm here to remind you today, your story is not over. Where you are right now is not the end. Struggles may have shaped you, failures may have scarred you, but they do not define you. The love that surrounds you is bigger than your past, stronger than your mistakes, and constant through every battle you face. You see, falling down is not the end. Staying down is. And no matter how many times you've been knocked down, you still have the power to rise again. You may not feel strong. You may not see the way forward. But the truth is, strength is built in the act of rising. Courage is born in the decision to get back up one more time. Think of the greatest stories in history. None of them are about people who never failed. They are about people who fell but rose again. They are about people who faced setbacks but refused to stay down. Every champion has scars. Every hero has wounds. But the difference between defeat and victory is the choice to rise. Maybe you're listening right now and thinking, but I've messed up too many times. I've gone too far. I don't have the strength to get up again. Let me speak directly to that. You are never too far gone. As long as you have breath in your lungs, you still have purpose. As long as your heart is beating, there is still a reason to rise. And you don't have to do it alone. Love is right there with you, lifting you, guiding you, reminding you that you are not finished yet. Picture this, a seed buried deep in the soil. From the outside, it looks like it's been buried to die. But in reality, it's been planted to grow. The soil that covers it, the pressure that surrounds it, is the very thing that allows new life to spring forth. Maybe that's where you are right now. You feel buried, forgotten, pressed down by life. But what if you haven't been buried to die, but planted to rise? This is your call to rise again, to look at your life and say, this is not the end. I am not my mistakes. I am not my failures. I am not my struggles. I am loved. I am chosen. And I still have a future. I want you to take a moment right where you are and breathe that in. Reflect on it. Let it sink deep into your heart. Because when you believe this truth, hope begins to grow. Strength begins to return. light begins to shine again. So rise above the pain, rise above the shame, rise above the lies that say you'll never change. Rise into the person you were created to be. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just take one step. Just get up one more time. That one decision could change everything. Your story isn't over. It's still being written. And the next chapter begins when you decide to rise again.